Let's do another one. Ready? Water. Water. We do an interpretive Mountain Valley dance. Okay. What's up, y'all? It's Preston from Liquid Life Wellness Water, and today we are reviewing Mountain Valley Spring Water. This has been the #1 most requested water review that we've gotten so far. Many people texting me, and this is actually the water that we drink the most of here at our household, and I'll show you the setup a little bit later on in this video. This water, it's really good water, and I'm excited to get into it a little bit more in detail. A lot of reviews on the internet are just kind of measuring the alkalinity or the TDS levels, so I really want to kind of delve deeper and get into the weeds of the minerality and the history of this water and what that means for the end user. Welcome to the second in-depth water review, Mountain Valley Spring Water. Come along. Welcome to the home setup. This is our 5-gallon jug of Mountain Valley in glass. This is a Momo lifestyle filter. Unfortunately, it's plastic, so we're kind of defeating some of the purpose of getting it in glass. But as far as the options go, this was kind of the best. You can actually get these dispensers for the 5-gallon drums as well. You can black and silver and kind of futuristic, but we didn't know how long we were gonna be here if we're gonna like it this much, but we do enjoy it. There are some complications with the 5-gallon drum that we'll get into here in a second, but these are kind of the main 3 options. And I'm not using the flavored sparkling because I avoid the natural flavors at all costs. Those tend to be linked to neurological issues and other carcinogenic effects. So I've had their lime, their blackberry pomegranate, and some of their other flavors, the white peach, I loved for a long time, but try to avoid those as much as possible personally. Getting into this water, there's a little over 18 liters in this 5-gallon drum. So the cost of this unit is about $40 to actually rent or purchase this 5-gallon glass container from Mountain Valley, and then it's about $34 per delivery and reuse. And so when you cancel your subscription, you can return the glass to them, they pick it up, and then you're returned that money. And so the math kind of works out to a little over $2, about $2.11 per 1 liter bottle for the 5-gallon. Whereas the retail price is sometimes around $3.29. You can get it more on discount and more on sale, and especially if you buy it in the 12-pack cases, averaging mid-2s to high 2s. That seems to be what the pricing is here in Los Angeles. But really the main concern is the actual carrying of the water, especially in a place like LA where everything has to go in the car, and here in the high rise has to go up an elevator. So this is just easy for us. And right now, me and my wife, my baby, although he doesn't drink water yet, only breast milk, but there needs to be more hydration for the mom. So we're going through about 4 of these 5-gallon drums every 2 weeks. And so that's our current subscription level. We really enjoy it. We make all of our tea, all of our coffee, everything with this water actually, and it has a higher mineral content. I mean, literally right here, you can see all the calcium buildup in the tea kettle. Yeah, this is our setup. We have some nice flowers bringing the living water to life, and it actually gets to be in the sun, so it does absorb some of that sun energy in here and acts as a natural UV light sterilization tool. So not that it really needs it, but just wanted to show you what our home system setup looks like, because we've explored lots of options and we go through a lot of water, and spring water for us is the best day-to-day water for our maximum wellness and hydration. All right, so we have our Mountain Valley spring water from the 5-gallon delivery service. In this cup right here, we have our still water and we have our sparkling. Now, one thing to notice is that in particular, the still and the sparkling have pretty different test results from some of the people who've been doing water testing on this, like Oasis. This water has a rich history dating back to 1871. So this bottle of water has taken a long time to create. One interesting thing about these actual glass bottles is there's numbers and there's logos on the glass that'll actually dictate where this glass was made. Mountain Valley has been around since 1871. This is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, American spring water brand. It's been the official water of multiple White Houses and presidencies, many celebrity endorsements over the years, and this company has been bought and sold and bought and sold. It is now owned by Primo Waters. They keep buying other local conglomerates, etc. We'll get into that in in a second. But this water comes from Arkansas in the Ouachita Mountains. They say on the website, over 3,500 years ago, rain and snow filtered through layers of shale, sandstone, and limestone, collecting minerals before emerging at the surface. This natural filtration process gives the water its unique taste and mineral content. So this is spring water, and for a mineral water, it has to be 250 milligrams per liter or higher. And with the spring water, that means the water's being led to basically the surface of the earth for us humans to collect this water. We're not having to drill super deep and pump it out like an artesian or a well water per se. So let's do some testing before we get into some of the data that is on the internet. So we have our handy dandy TDS meter that looks like it's from the 80s. And let's start out with the TDS, the parts per million of the subscription water. And it's marketed as a TDS, which is a total dissolved solid. So that basically includes all the minerals, what is actually in the water, because as Martin Rees says, water is not just water. We're 172, so that's really close to the 220 level. You have a lot of good minerals in there, which is why we drink it as an everyday water. Let's test the alkalinity as well. Now, alkalinity, some people swear by it, that it is like everything, the pH level, you want alkaline water. Well, in my opinion, it's much more about taste. And there is some legitimacy because alkaline water tends to have a higher mineral composition, or at least with bicarbonate, which is baking soda. So this is testing at a 7.97, 7.96, which is pretty alkaline. I like the taste of this water. That makes sense with the alkaline level. So cheers to this. We're gonna drink this. Let's crack open this still version of the water. Pour this into the glass. We're gonna test the TDS level of this. Now with living waters, I always say have some grace for them. But I know Mountain Valley, based on other tests that I've done, that their TDS is pretty consistent between their still products, which is pretty great. So let's see if we're edified in that statement. 186 TDS, which is very, very similar to what we just tested. So that's amazing. And then why not test the pH level of this as well while we're at it? How many clicks does it take to get to the center of the lollipop? 7.87, almost exactly the same, slightly lower, which is interesting because that TDS was higher. So yeah, that's about right. Shout out to Mountain Valley for their consistency. That's nice. Filming this show and the podcast, there's gonna be probably a lot of burp breaks and pee breaks. I think we should have like a record for guests who had to take the most pee breaks or something like that. And I think the record right now is 3. So if you haven't checked out Liquid Life yet, go check that out. That's our show. And we use water kind of as the starting point for all sorts of conversations, because water, just like art, is a conversation starter. And it is, of course, the most basic element to human life. So there's that also. Let's test the sparkling version of the water for their TDS levels. Now with the sparkling, the bubbles actually kind of interfere with the meter because of the carbonation. This is interesting though. Oh, well, it's going up a bit. It's testing at significantly lower parts per million, so around 120 to 130s, got all the way up to 140. So we'll call it in between like 120 or so, 118, etc. So that's interesting. That's a significantly lower TDS, almost 30%. And I actually have a hypothesis around why the sparkling water has a lower TDS based on the results that are actually published by not only Mountain Valley, but other third-party systems like Oasis. And that theory is that they're actually adding purified tap water to their water in order to meet demands, but in particular with the sparkling water. And let's test the pH. Now I bet the pH is significantly lower with this sparkling water as well. I can just taste it, and it's almost 2 whole degrees lower. So mid-5, so that's an acidic water. Now the carbonation can add some sense of acidity to it, but that's also how the carbonation reacts with the minerals. But if you're adding completely purified reverse osmosis municipally sourced tap water to your spring water, that would make the water more acidic as well because there's no minerals, or especially no bicarbonate in that water. I actually feel my body is not as attracted or wanting this particular sparkling water nearly as much as the still version of the water. So I feel kind of edified in that kind of intuition that I've had with the still versus sparkling. Still going to drink it. has a nice carbonation level, but really that acidity does make a big difference in the actual taste. Again, alkalinity more for taste for me than the health benefits based on the fact that our stomachs are just so acidic when it comes down to it. So let's get into some of the actual data behind the water and the mineral composition and content. We have the 2020 water quality report, and then we have the 2023 water quality report. That is published by Mountain Valley. So, you know, are they fudging some of the results? Maybe. However, all of that being said and all of my criticism, you see, like, I'm a fan of Mountain Valley. Like, this is the water me and my family drink. To me, it is the best commercially available water. It's delivered in glass, which is important. Overall, it has a great mineral composition. Burp break. False flag, burp break. Oh, is it coming? Is it not? I don't know. We shall see. All right, so we're on the 2020. There it is, water report. And the TDS is set at 220, which is the same as 2023. Now these naturally vary as the actual spring changes because it's a living source, like it's a living water. The thing to point out about this water is it's marketed to have 190 milligrams per liter of bicarbonate, and that gives it that alkaline level. And it's really great for digestion. I love water that has a significant bicarbonate level to it, so that is amazing. The thing that I don't really like about this water in particular that kind of my dream water, let's say, would have, is a higher magnesium to calcium ratio. Now, within the 2020 to 2023 water reports, it's consistent that the calcium is 67 milligrams per liter, and then the magnesium level is low sevens. For our bodies, we want magnesium to be about 1.5 and the calcium to be 1. And so this is why we oftentimes supplement with so much more magnesium. And magnesium promotes relaxation, stress relief, grounding, etc. And so for me, that mineral ratio that they really market is kind of lacking. And I wish that magnesium level was 67. And I wish the calcium level was 7. That would be amazing. And you would literally feel the difference when you're drinking this water in your body. And then they, for some reason, really, they put it on the back of the bottle too, potassium, 0.7 to 1.2 milligrams per liter. It's like, why even put that in there? That's such a low level of potassium. I would be marketing the bicarbonate level on here. And one thing to point out is when you look at these numbers, it says the bicarbonate level is 190 milligrams per liter, but there's 67 milligrams per liter of calcium. How does that add up to 220? And that's something I've been actually curious of as a water obsessed person. And we actually figured it out on ChatGPT today. Basically, in order to get the TDS, they dehydrate the water and you're only left with the minerals, and then they weigh it. And so that percentage volume weight of these different minerals in here actually have a mineral composition, because you think of sodium bicarbonate. And also it's like, you know, CaCO3, there's calcium in there also. So sometimes the calcium is part of these other mineral compositions. That was interesting to me. I did a horrible job at explaining it, but that's the general premise that I'm running with at the moment. One thing to notice on here is the bromide level. They're saying non-detected for all these things, which I believe. Barium, very low, very, very low. There's chromium, there's a little bit of fluoride. We'll get into fluoride here in a second, because that is the most interesting thing and actually signifier why I think they're actually supplementing with municipally sourced filtered tap water. But with bromide in particular, this water is microfiltered and then it is UV light sterilized in order to kill the bacteria, parasites, and pathogens in the water, which you don't want. Those can make you sick from these living water sources. But you can actually create bromate through over-ozonating the water. So you just have to be careful at the level you're ozoning the water based on those bromide levels. Now the fluoride topic has become a much larger cultural conversation. And one thing to point out is, number one, there's calcium fluoride, which is the naturally occurring fluoride. And so if you have enough calcium in your body will absorb the fluoride because it'll bind to it. And it's also less bioavailable. The main problem with fluoride is it will calcify your pineal gland, which is your third eye, kind of the God molecule producing, DMT producing gland in your body, and all sorts of spiritual practices kind of rely on this third eye. With fluoride levels here, in 2020, there were 0.1 milligrams per liter. And historically, they've been 0.1 milligrams per liter with Mountain Valley. And in 2023 report, it's 0.15 milligrams per liter. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's not much. right? These municipal systems are adding 0.7 to 0.9 milligrams per liter of fluorosilicic acid, which is basically a chemical byproduct, a waste product that these companies, these chemical manufacturing companies would either have to throw away, but now they're getting paid to put it in municipal systems. And I believe that they're paying the city council people to actually continue voting on this. It's crazy to me that we're adding unnecessary chemicals to water. Sure, 100 years ago, I understand the benefits of it for teeth and dental challenges because fluoride is an essential mineral and essential for our bone health. But to add fluorosilicic acid is kind of insane to me. The thing to point out here with Mountain Valley though is that is a 50% increase. So what happened in between 2020 and 2023 where there's a 50% jump? If there was a 50% jump in magnesium or calcium, I'd be like, that's crazy, what the heck happened there? My skeptical brain goes, oh, they're probably supplementing with municipally sourced tap water, which has a lot of fluoride in it, and fluoride is really hard to get out, and you're not getting it out from the microfiltration, the UV light sterilization, or ozonation. You have to have fluoride specific filtration, and that creates all sorts of other challenges. But based on how many bottles of water they're selling and the size of that spring, I do believe that they're actually having to supplement. And I've talked to some industry insiders about this idea, and it's not only them as spring water suppliers, but a lot of the cheap spring waters that you're buying from the store, depending on how much rain has happened in the past year, a number of other environmental circumstances, spring water can be up to 49% municipally sourced tap water as long as there's 51% or more actual spring water in that bottle. And that's something that most people don't know. So when you're buying that really cheap, bad plastic bottle of spring water that's the in-house brand of, you know, some grocer, and it's $1, compared to the $3 here, like you're paying for difference. And in the long term, those will kind of add up in your body. So that's just kind of my tinfoil hat that's not too tinfoily anymore these days. As far as the Mountain Valley review goes, again, I spend like $400 a month on Mountain Valley knowing these things. Eventually, I would like to provide a better alternative to Mountain Valley in glass with higher magnesium levels. That is one of my goals for Liquid Life Wellness Water. But for now, I'm just enjoying this water and being able to have it. I'll show you actually outside my last rant of the day before we kind of hop off here. Oh man, the subscription service. Oh my God, it is such a nightmare. It is such an antiquated system. They're owned by Primo, have a local distribution center with sparklets, and now they are ready refresh, and it feels like literally every month Mountain Valley is getting distributed by someone else here in Los Angeles in particular. I don't know if you have these problems, comment down below. And I literally tell people about this subscription service. They don't know about it, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta subscribe to the 5-gallon glass drums. And at the same time, it's like really frustrating that the system is so antiquated and it's basically impossible to change your order. You have to call. I was on hold with them for an hour. There needs to be some sort of app that you can actually like change your order and stuff. And so there's a big problem that I hope to actually offer a solution from when we get our source and our water kind of in the pipeline, because it is totally insane right now. And they think that I want 13 new bottles of water and they're charging me $500. It's like totally insane. I'm willing to spend a lot of money on water because I know the effects and the benefits, not only in my physical body, my wife's physical body, but the spiritual nature of water as well. It's very important, right? And so it is the best option, but also there are major improvements that could happen to bring this subscription service into 2025, right? You can get food delivered in 10 minutes. Why is this such an antiquated system? Well, you know, to play the counterpoint, number one, water is really heavy and difficult to transport, and B, it's not much money, right? 40 bucks for a 5-gallon jug of water may sound like a lot of money, but in the long run with labor costs and doing this in a city like Los Angeles, it's a pain in the butt to park the 18-wheeler, the truck, to actually deliver this water to someone's doorstep. It's a lot of effort, and not many people are willing to do that work. You know, it's a little different than delivering an Amazon package per se. So anyway, these are kind of the key notes from the data that is available to us. The last thing I'll point out, I am a fan of what Oasis Water app is doing. Their numbers don't really add up for me in a lot of regards. And in one regard, with relation to Mountain Valley, are the chromium levels. So looking at the sparkling water version of the Mountain Valley on Oasis Water app, which is seemingly the #1 water testing app, they have it rated at 50 out of 100, which is poor. And then they have the still at 87 out of 100. And then they have the 5-gallon drum at 91 out of 100. Good score, but and I've had an issue with them before with their numbers, where they're getting these numbers from. They say that the chromium level is 16 times the limit. Well, #1 what limit? I've talked to them, they said it's the California limit, but the California limit is at 0.0078 milligrams per liter. That's way less. So why is it saying that it's 16 times the limit? And I've had this issue while reviewing an Eternal Spring water. So my point is, don't trust everything you see. Do the research yourself. AI is an incredible tool. You can literally put these numbers in here, and you don't really have to be a scientist like me, just someone who's interested in these things, to get a little more truth than maybe what you're being told and what you're being sold. So I'm just so confused by that. But yeah, I do really believe that something's happening with this sparkling version. I definitely prefer the still version. Overall, there's better options for sparkling waters with high mineral content that aren't supplementing with municipally sourced tap water, most likely. Topo Chico does this also. LaCroix, for example, is completely municipally sourced tap water that they're putting in aluminum cans, which is a whole other topic of conversation. So this isn't just a Mountain Valley thing. This isn't just a sparkling water thing. Like, these issues and conversations need to kind of come to more of the cultural conversation, because you should be buying what you think you're buying, right? You shouldn't be paying a premium for something that's not fully a premium product. That's the science portion. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't do a horrible job at this and get everything wrong. But you know what? We're trying our best, and I think that information needs to be more accessible and out there, because most of these water reviews are just like, we're testing the pH level. It is green. It is good. Goodbye. It goes much deeper than that. And water is just such an important part of us and humanity. It deserves to be treated so. And so we hope to actually do much more in-depth third-party testing on our own, so we have this data as well, and that's coming. As you can see, I'm a Mountain Valley fan, a Mountain Valley stan, and we have to leave notes for our Mountain Valley delivery guy because they think I want 13 new bottles. It's like $500. That's a no, and it's just difficult because sometimes you want to go through 2 or 3 bottles a week, and then you have to, change everything for the new delivery, and it costs money, $15 to get it delivered each time. So you want to make it worth your while. So there just needs to be a different system in place to actually make it much more manageable, not only on a distribution side, but an actual end user side. So we love Mountain Valley, even though, everything that we kind of just said in that review. Shout out to the driver. He got my number because I'm such a problem Mountain Valley customer that he'll text me sometimes to confirm things. We also live on the top floor up here, so it's no joke carrying this water around. These are like 40-something pounds per unit, so it's a workout. Oh, hello there. I hope you enjoyed the Mountain Valley water review. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the Liquid Life podcast. It's available on all streaming platforms. Follow us on all social medias at Liquid Life Wellness Water, and drop a comment below. Did you learn something from this water review? And is there a water that you want us to review next? Thank you so much. Peace out. Much love. Shout out to Mountain Valley. Should I chug this whole liter right now, Chris? It's so acidic, Chris. They're using tap water. You're using tap water. I don't know if I can do this. Do you think you could do it? All right, ready? All right, give me a little. Mountain Valley, 1 liter chug. Beard meets food. Let's do a little water chug competition. We're gonna vomit all over this painting. Ready? Let's go. Nope, it's not gonna happen. Nope. Like, comment, and subscribe. Much love. Wagwan. Peace out.